You're listening to Super Power Up with multidimensional master, superpower expert, and former counterintelligence agent, Tonya Don Rekla. If you're ready to disrupt reality, then sit down, strap in, and prepare to experience the show that proves there is no spoon.
Hello, everyone. This is Tonya Don Rekla, your superpower expert, and you have a treat today. I'm very excited. I've got this big smile on my face. I love this woman, and I wish we were standing together. I could give her a big hug, but I'm doing that virtually. So Jody Jealous joins us today to talk about business confidence equals business success. This woman needs literally no introduction from me, but I am going to brag about her just in case you've been living under a rock or something, or you don't know all the stuff that she's up to. But Jody Jealous is best known for, at least in my circles, for Lady Balls, right? This is Lady Balls movement that she created. And I can't wait for her to share with you kind of how that came about and the purpose of it, because it just encapsulates this idea of being confident, right? In yourself, in what you're doing in the world. And she also has the Profit Vortex, a digital agency where she helps people with kind of those bold statements, but in marketing and the business side of the house. So she's a very, very, very well-rounded business expert in those arenas. And I'm super excited to have her share with you all how important confidence is in business success, but also, like, that's great if we all think that way, but how do we do it, right? How do we get that? We want it. How do we get it? And so without further ado, please, please, please join me in welcoming to the show, Jody Jealous. Welcome, Jody.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. You're such a delight. And I'm really excited to dive into this topic with you, because I think that it's popular, right? I mean, it's not that anybody would say, no, you don't have to be confident in business, but how, right? The why, the how. So I'm really, really excited to kind of dig in there. But before we do, we're going to ask our question, which is, what are your superpowers?
My superpowers. I think my superpower would be tricking people into believing themselves when they've spent most of their life not believing in themselves.
Yes, she did say tricking.
I mean, it's interesting, like you talk about the topic of confidence, and it's the one thing that we need the most, and it's the one thing that most people lack no matter what level they're at. And so, a lot of it runs deep, and sometimes we have to, they'll form, people will form beliefs, or we, self included, form beliefs throughout their life that they've used to not achieve what they want. And sometimes you have to trick them, get them to see things from a completely different perspective, to see that they've been lying to themselves all that time. And sometimes it takes a little bit of mind trickery to get them to see that.
I would say it takes a lot of mind trickery. Like, that's one of the biggest things. We came out, what was it, 3-4 years ago now, talking about things like energetic manipulation. And the messages that I got and what I was witnessing was it's like NLP on crack, right? And what we mean by energetic manipulation is based in the idea that we are always either being manipulated by an environment or we're manipulating it. And that makes us super uncomfortable, right? Most people have no idea just how much they're manipulating themselves internally, or even how to use that to their advantage. So you and I can kind of joke about, trickery and this and that, but it's happening, and either you're aware of it, you're aware of what you're doing, or you're aware of what other people are doing, and you're, opting to kind of stare it in the face, or you're trying to pretend it's not going on, and it's creating your world, like you're imprisoned to it then. And so, I think that that's a huge conversation that we could probably dive into for weeks, because, but isn't that at the basis of whether or not somebody is going to be successful in business?
Yeah, 100%. But here's the other thing. Like, I've been doing, like, I'm 41. Went to my first personal development course when I was 14. So my whole life, been just full of personal development seminars and books and learning. But you get to a point where there's only so much learning, and my dad has always said to me, to know and to not do is to not know. So until you're in situations where you can put into practice those things that you've learnt in the books, at the seminars, all of those kind of things, until you can put that into practice, it's like it's textbook stuff. So I think, like, when I finally went, all right, I'm done learning all the time and not executing. When I committed working with a couple of big coaches that I'd followed for years and looked up to, and now they're friends. Once I did that, once I started working with them, working on doing the doing, then that's when I was able to put into practice the stuff that I had learned all of those years in personal development. And they weren't teaching any personal development. It was purely business strategy. It was sales funnels. It was delivering, your most epic offers, that kind of thing. They weren't teaching mindset, but I learned the most about mindset by taking the stuff I had learned and applying it in a scary situation.
Well, because what that forces you to do is it forces you to look at where you weren't holding that mindset, right? Because as you're watching it in practice and it's like, okay, this person's saying this, and this works and you get these results and you're not getting those results. I think the natural thing for any of us who, or do any kind of development or transformative work is to look at, okay, well, why am I not doing that then? Like, if I know this, why am I not doing it? And that's an uncomfortable place for a lot of people.
It's like training for a marathon your whole life and never running one.
Well, it's funny you say that because it's like, I think everybody's kind of waiting for this, like, hallelujah moment or something, or someone to show up and say, hominis dominus, you can do this now, you're there. And because we never feel ready, right? We don't, there's no like diploma, there's no, you are now personally developed, right? There's no end point. So it's like, so we're waiting for like this end point that's never going to come, but we're waiting. And so we're in the energy of not really being that because we're waiting for the moment for it to happen. So it is a really interesting kind of interplay when you dig through it. I call it, playing 100% all in and being 100% detached simultaneously. Right. Mm-hmm. It's this really weird kind of fuzzy space of, well, if I haven't arrived, if I'm not fully developed and I'm not fully enlightened or whatever it is that you're seeking, then who am I to embark on this work or to do this in the world or to bring my bigness into the world? But the irony is that you'll never be there. You'll never get there unless you do bring it into the world. So it's like, it's kind of a chicken egg thing.
And it's constant growth too. Like it's not like, it doesn't matter what level you're at. There's not probably a person on this planet who doesn't have stuff come up that they're still going to deal with. They've just got tools built in a different way and they get better at using those tools.
So it's kind of like you might as well just get started now kind of thing. It's like, okay, for a lot of clients, I'm like, okay, hominis dominus, go. Now you can go do your work. Yeah. like who am I to say that? But we don't. And in all fairness to people, like a lot of it is our built-in kind of humility. It's like I don't want to be fake. Like I don't want to pretend to have it all together if I don't. And so there is a genuine kind of aspect to it that I think is more fair than just saying that people just constantly sit in their fear. Definitely fear related, but we're kind of trained to earn it and to so there, I think it's a complicated conversation. But at the end of the day, let's face it, that confidence is really where you're going to build business success from. We need to take a break real quick. Before we do, Jody, where can people go to find out more about you?
If they go watch my videos at jodyjealous.com, jodyjelas.com, they'll find a lot of my Ladyballs focused videos there for starters.
Very cool. That's a great place to start with this woman. So we're talking with Jody Jealous today about business confidence equals business success. And I'm telling you, you're going to want to stay with us because when we come back from this break, we're going to talk about lady balls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Awesome. We're back. You're listening to the Superpower Up podcast, and we're talking today with Jody Jealous about business confidence equals business success. Jody, hit us with it. How in the world did you come up with Lady Balls, or have the audacity to think that that was a good brand and to really step into it? What was that like for you?
I've kind of always been in your face, kind of like go the other direction. If there's something that everybody's doing, I won't do it. If there's something everybody's watching, I won't watch it. If there's, I don't like doing that. I like kind of like pattern interrupters, my natural state. And I was wanted to write a book back in the day when I was wanting to write a book for ego purposes. And the title was going to be Boobs, Heels, and Branding. And the reason it was going to be that is when I was launching myself in the Jody Jealous brand, and I was, going from behind a company to launching my own name, because I thought you can't go back on that. I've got to be all in. I had a coach who told me because of the way I look, no one would ever take me seriously. They'd always think that I was boobs and heels. And I'm like, well, I've got boobs. I was born with these, and I've got heels on because I'm a chick, and that's what we do. So if anyone's going to judge me for anything of that, that's not someone that I want in my realm anyway. And it really just annoyed me to a point and made me so mad that it was an awesome turning point for me. We talked about fear before. If I'm faced with fear or confrontation, I actually work better from that place. Like when I make, if I have an extra bunch of income come in because I've done some launch or something, I put it away in a bank account and keep my bank accounts at extremely low, because I work better if I come from a place of, a little bit of fear. And so a little bit of rage and anger every now and again drives me too. And in this case it did. And I wanted that to be my book title. I had the book cover done. And then eventually when I finally wrote the book, I was sitting with a client. We're trying to come up for an acronym with my program that I had at the time, which was called Boom. And we're trying to come up with a B. We're like, B. What's the process? So let's say you're starting out in business, or you're going to a new level. What's the B word to start with? And then I went, balls. Like, you can't do anything without strapping on a set of balls first. And most of my clients were female, so I'm like, lady balls. And I was sitting at the table with a client and a friend, and we just went, oh my God, we cannot not call the book that. Like, it has to be that, because it hands down explains, no matter where you're at, every step of the way, you've got to strap on those lady balls. And sometimes you might not feel like it, like you might not be completely feeling that confidence, but I've always said it's the one thing you are allowed to fake it till you make it, is your confidence. Like, if you can just go, you know what, I'm not feeling that confident, but I'm going to act confident. I'm going to hold myself in a confident way. And I believe action removes doubt. So if you're in action and you're, again, tricking yourself to believe that you're confident when you're not, suddenly you start becoming confident. And when you're taking those action steps, it's like your brain doesn't have the capacity to, be, what's the opposite of confident?
Insecure?
Insecure, and take action at the same time. It's like those two things can't completely coexist in your brain. You've got to be more one than the other. And so if you're taking action and you've got your balls strapped on, then you can achieve anything. That's my theory.
I love it. And it's super brilliant, because it's the kind of, well, I mean, again, we could probably talk for weeks about this, but what you're really tapping into is this awareness that we have like these multiple things happening simultaneously inside of us, right? There's this complexity to us. There's one of my favorite quotes is a Walt Whitman quote, and it says, I contradict myself. Very well, I contradict myself. I contain multitudes. And it's really accepting the fact that we are constantly contradicting ourselves. Control wants one thing, chaos wants something different. The introvert wants one thing, the extrovert wants something different. All of this here is, just an amazing way for us to look at, wait, all of this can be true at the same time, and that's okay. I might be, an aspect of me may be in fear right now, but I get to choose whether or not that runs the show, or something else does. And for me, it's like, if we're making up the story all along, I'd rather make up a story that's fun and that I want to live in. Like, so I can choose to be sniveling in fear, or I can choose to say, okay, got it. I see you, and I'm still going to do this, right? I don't think it's the eradication of fear. I just think it's the eradication of us abdicating to fear.
And taking the energy of that, the ball of energy that is fear, and just reframing it, repurposing it, and channeling that into a more positive way. Because, yeah, like I said, I actually thrive in fear because, I don't know, the big thing that's so huge, what you said, we could definitely talk about that forever, that those things can coexist at the same time. Because people get confused by that. Like, how is it that I'm feeling this way and I'm feeling this way? And it's kind of, they feel like they're out of alignment. But the only difference is, like, if they can embrace those things. I wrote a thing yesterday I put up online because there was a storm coming, and I went down to the beach to get in a last walk before the storm came. And I say it in my book about, you can't have the light without the dark. And everyone in America at the moment is going, oh, I'm freezing cold. It's the coldest we've ever been. People in Vegas, it's been snowing. I'm down here in New Zealand. It is so hot that I'm losing the plot, and I'm dying for the rain to come. Like, this storm's been pretending to come for 3 days, and I'm just going, I need both. And sometimes I'm an extreme in one and extreme in the other, but I know I always go back. Like, the tides always turn, and I thrive on that change.
But that's the confidence piece, right? Like, that so you've developed processes and understanding in your existence, so you have confidence, so you can relax into the fullness of each one of those cycles or phases that you're in the middle of, knowing that you will always bring yourself back. I think it's true in business also. You and I talked a little bit about how important it is to have confidence in your business processes, in your business structures, in your business mission, your plan, everything about it, because then you can present yourself confidently and say, hey, we got this. We know how to do this. We have a solution for that, right? It informs the sales process. And so I know that you're working on a really amazing program that helps business owners do that. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, and that's the exciting bit, because Lady Balls is all about the confidence. And like I said, action removes doubt. And so having structures and strategies in place that you're executing, man, that builds confidence. If you're doing that stuff, if you're getting stuck into that. And so I had clients whose webinars were doing okay, and I thought, with technology these days, we can totally put this on steroids. So I came up with this system, the Whirlpool Momentum Formula, and it's an automated webinar, but it's got urgency around it. So when people go to opt in, there's like countdown timers that legit cuts them off. There's bots included, Facebook chat bots. So you're talking to them that way. The open rates are like through the roof. The click-through rates are through the roof compared to email. You also have email. And it's delivering the content to people in different modalities, because we all absorb information differently. So there's webinar, audio, highlight reel, PDF, and it's just this big automated webinar on roids that I've not seen anyone else doing, and my clients are absolutely killing with it right now. So I'm kind of just opening it up to the world now that we've got this tight system in place. And I can confidently put this out there, knowing that we've tried and tested it. We know it's absolutely killing it. And we've got a tight system in place. So when clients come to us and go, cool, we want to sell this. This is what we do. We can put it through the Whirlpool Momentum Formula and actually know that we've got complete confidence in our system, because, we've done the work. We've done the work over these months, defining it.
Well, and I love that you said that, because it is work. Right. I have a huge soapbox right now about, people being really honest about what goes into all of this. Like, there's when we create programs, when we create processes, when we create all this stuff, it's easy to step back from the outside and look at it and say, oh, I can do that. And I'm going to do that. And buy a program that says, oh, look, if you just do this one step, you're going to be a multimillionaire. And it's like, there's work and it does happen. Of course it happens. And it's sitting on top of really integrated foundations of work and of facing these things in ourselves and making the choice time and time and time and time again to say, I see you, to our fear, but choosing something different. And so there's a whole kind of cellular confidence thing that has to get built up in the leader of any organization. And there's also a confidence that has to get built up within the organization. It's its own living, breathing entity. And you get to model that, but only if you're willingly facing that head on. And of course, at Superpower Experts and Lady Balls over with Jody Jealous, like, have support in that. Make sure that you are leaning into people who can, hold that space with you and encourage you to stand on your own. And that's an art, folks. Just start kind of looking around and seeing where perhaps you're abdicating to something outside of yourself or an aspect within yourself. If you're abdicating to your own fear, it's going to show up in the projection, and nothing's going to work quite the way that you expect it to, or what your vision is showing you. So these aren't light topics. Like, we could throw the word confidence around all day long, but it has an impact at a molecular level. And we have to start looking at those things. Otherwise, we'll never be able to truly have the impact on our environments and on other people that we desire to have. So we don't take these conversations lightly. And I'm super grateful for people like Jody coming forward to share her wisdom and experience with all of you. Jody, final thoughts for our folks, something they can implement right now so they feel more confident. I don't know that you can top your other suggestion of, like, fake it till you make it, kind of show up. Is there something else we can look at, or you can offer them right before we go here?
Yeah, I think the key thing is, strategy and everything's all good, but if you can, like, put that bullying mind, the voice in your head, to the side so that you can take the action. I think the biggest thing for us to do is, if you think about a belief that you've had through your entire life, I'm not loved, I'm not enough, and look back at, it's easy for us to go, I'm not loved because when I was 7, this happened. But what people don't do is they don't stop and go, where in my life can I prove that belief untrue? And if you ask yourself that question and really think about it, and force yourself to come up with at least 10 times in your life where that belief has been untrue, it's amazing the momentum that you pick up. Next thing, you start writing, 15, 20, and then you go, well, if these are true, then that belief I've been pushing on myself all these years is not completely true. And it's just a great ask. Where can you prove that negative belief to be completely untrue?
Brilliant. I'm going to take one extra moment here, proud mommy moment. So this reminds me of Neva's thing, and we'll link it right here. But she watched a video on Facebook. It was a makeup tutorial that showed the woman, and it was rating her as a 0. And then once she put on this miraculous makeup, now she's a 10, right? And Neva was watching it, and she came to Justin and I, and she was like, she said, I'm sitting there watching this video, and I'm like, isn't it 2019? Like, what are we doing? She was just kind of this baffled, but kind of in this rage was like starting to percolate in there. And so she's like, and she started thinking about, just ideas, creative ideas. Anyway, long story short, she asks us if, she connects into a video director of ours, or a movie director that we know, and unbeknownst to me, she had a couple video chats with him and stuff. And the next thing I know, she's asking if they can film at the house and what a good day was. And we weren't, we're like, sure. We blocked off a day, whatever. Didn't hear any more of it. And about 2 days before the event, come to find out, she had about 20 people showing up at the house, a video team, like all this stuff, to film this vision that she had seen of everybody holding up these signs of things that they had judged themselves for, or had been judged for. And what came of it is exactly what you're talking about, is kind of this idea of like, wait, like that's just not true. And it was so cool to see everybody's reactions and responses, and the amazing content that was created from it, but the experience of having other people kind of look at you going, what? Like, that's not true. And then just naturally going into this, like, let me tell you all the reasons that's not true. Right. I think it's a great exercise to do internally.
100%. I love it. And I love her action taking.
No joke.
Like, I've got an idea. And watch me execute this.
From the mouths of babes, right? Very cool. Well, Jody, let's remind people again where they can go to find out more about you.
Well, I'm going to tell them to go check out, because if they want to go check out jodyjallis.com, they can go watch my videos there. But if they want to go check out the strategy that I mentioned, whirlpoolmomentumformula.com, they can actually go through the strategy there, and it'll be a masterclass teaching them a bit about the strategy too.
Oh, very cool. Well, again, thank you so much for your bright light and wisdom and your courage and your confidence and what you model in the world for others to emulate. We appreciate you and we honor you for the work that you're doing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And to all of you out there, as always, we appreciate your loyalty. Thank you so much for listening, and go out, uncover your superpowers, and change the world. Take care, everyone.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the superpower quiz today.